We do want to update you on Hurricane Melissa, likely going to be the strongest hurricane to ever hit Jamaica. This is going to take a direct hit on the island of Jamaica. So the latest that we have on it right now, it is a powerful Category 5 hurricane with those winds 165 miles per hour right now. But look at those gusts, 200 miles per hour. Still not moving a whole lot at all right now. Nearly stationary, moving to the west at only 3 miles per hour. But that forward speed will start to increase a little later today, heading on into this evening and overnight tonight, taking it right up toward the island of Jamaica there. So we do have the hurricane warnings obviously in effect for the island of Jamaica there, and those will extend a little farther north and west as well. As we head into later today and for tomorrow. Now we'll take a look at the track of the storm, but again, Category 5 hurricane, 165 mile per hour winds right now. And as we take a look at the track heading on toward tomorrow, you can see it's going to be making landfall still as a strong Category 5 hurricane. Those 160 mile per hour winds moving on shore late tonight, early tomorrow. It looks like around in Jamaica there near Montego Bay, and it looks like Kingston will be on the eastern side of that, so that will be on the worst side of that. We're talking about a very strong storm surge as well, upwards of 30 to maybe 40 inches of rain in some locations as well along in the island of Jamaica there. So flooding certainly going to be a serious concern there. Now it moves over Jamaica, still going to be a Category 3 hurricane as it moves over southern Cuba. As we head into the latter half of the as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, toward the middle of the week, still looking at a very strong hurricane working its way as we head into Wednesday morning there, and it's going to maintain that hurricane strength even as it moves over the southeastern Bahamas. A Category 2 weakens some, but still later this week as we head toward Friday, still likely looking at a Category 1 hurricane as it moves just like it looks like it could move just over Bermuda there, maybe directly over Bermuda later this week. So this is a very powerful, very dangerous hurricane. Again, likely the strongest storm to ever hit Jamaica, it looks like right now with those Category 5 strength. And as we look at the wind radius with this, you can see moving right over Kingston, Jamaica there with those 160 mile per hour winds as we head into tomorrow, just to the east of that. So those winds moving onshore there as we head toward tomorrow morning. And again, those hurricane force winds will be extending all the way over toward Cuba, right around the red shaded area there. That's where we're going to have those strongest winds. That Category 3 hurricane, as we just mentioned, moving over southeastern Cuba. Then it moves over the southeastern Bahamas as we head later into the week, and then eventually on up toward Bermuda there, but still as a Category 1 hurricane even later this week. So we'll be talking more and more about this in the days to come. We'll have more details for you. So here's that tropical, the timecast for you, moving right over Kingston, over Jamaica tomorrow, just to the east of that eye wall where we'll see Kingston, Jamaica there, but right around the center of that circulation over the western portions of Jamaica, it looks like for tomorrow with the strongest winds. So we'll see the exact track that it takes, but this is going to be sometime tomorrow morning. This is around 5 a.m. Roughly with that landfall. So we'll be watching this late tonight, heading on into the early morning hours tomorrow. And then it moves on up into Cuba, still, again, as that Category 3 hurricane. It looks like with those strong winds in the center of that circulation, moving right over southeastern Cuba, and then eventually the southeastern portions of the Bahamas, and then moving on up toward, it looks like moving out into the Atlantic, weakening some, but moving back out over the open waters of the Atlantic, but still a Category 1 hurricane as it works its way up toward Bermuda as we head toward the latter half of the week. So we'll be talking more in detail about this. We'll have updates throughout the afternoon, heading into tonight, and of course on daybreak tomorrow morning as well. We'll have more on this as it begins to make a landfall, it looks like overnight, probably into the early morning hours of tomorrow.
A lot to talk about on this Monday afternoon, so let's get to it. Next cold front comes in for tomorrow. That will bring us the chance for a couple of isolated to scattered showers and storms. Most of us will stay dry, but a couple of us may be dodging some downpours by the evening. That is going to usher in some really big changes. I mean, the coldest air of the season so far, also some gusty winds. That'll be for tomorrow night. Getting into Wednesday, that'll also set us up for a much chillier looking forecast as we get into Halloween. That's what's going on here at home. We've got another big important update coming up on Melissa and the impacts that we're going to see in Jamaica. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. First, though, we're going to start at home. Couple clouds out there. Otherwise, though, it is a beautiful day so far. Our next storm system is waiting in the wings for us here up across the Intermountain West. There's our storm system from the other night that brought us the severe weather. That's moving to the east. Our next one comes in. This will move in for tomorrow afternoon. The good news, there is no severe weather component with this. We're not expecting a tornado threat, a damaging wind threat, no hail, nothing. Maybe a clap or two of thunder, otherwise, though, just a couple of showers. But the changes that come in behind this will be significant. So it's a shower chance for Tuesday. Gusty winds come in Tuesday night, sticking around through Wednesday. And then the coolest weather of the season works in behind this on those gusty winds for Tuesday night and Wednesday, and we could see some really chilly overnight temperatures here by the end of the week. Future track stays quiet the rest of today and tonight. Tomorrow morning, we start you off with a mix of sunshine and clouds, maybe more humidity, but that's going to be about it. We're dry to start. By the afternoon, just after lunchtime, 2, 3 o'clock, a couple of spotty showers may start to develop across the area. And again, maybe even a clap or two of thunder. This works towards the coast by the evening and then eventually offshore by 8 p.m. And then behind it, you get these gusty north winds that start to bring in some of that cooler weather, and that'll stick around getting into the end of the week. So look at the high temperatures tomorrow. Some of us could actually flirt with the upper 80s and low 90s. That's how much warmth is going to be ahead of this front. A lot of humidity as well. That's tomorrow afternoon. Once that front pushes through, watch how the numbers drop. The floor drops out on these numbers, and actual air temperatures by Wednesday, we could end up in the low 50s, maybe even a few upper 40s. So we're talking about almost a 40-degree temperature swing in some of these areas. And when you factor in that wind, we actually may have a wind chill with temperatures in the 40s by Wednesday morning. So definitely weather worth bundling up for, especially at the bus stops here for Wednesday. Wind gusts tomorrow evening, definitely worthy of securing any Halloween decorations. Keep that in mind. Halloween decorations, garbage cans, anything that's loose outside. We could see those gusts upwards of 30, 35 miles per hour once that initial front goes through. And then we just stay breezy. Getting into Wednesday, winds gusting upwards of 20, 25 miles per hour as we get you into the morning and in the afternoons. That really will add to the fall feel across the area with those cooler temperatures. So there it is, 80 for your high temperature for today, upper 80s for tomorrow. And again, some of us could flirt with 90 before those showers and storms go through. And then we just drop like a rock, 68 for your high temperature. Your high temperature only in the 60s as we get you into Wednesday. And those overnight temperatures will stay cold as well. Look at the daytime highs. Again, we go from 87 tomorrow to 68 on Wednesday, 70 for Thursday, 72 for Friday, which is Halloween, mid 70s for Saturday, and then back closer to normal, upper 70s and low 80s as we get into the first half of next week. But check out the overnight temperatures, where we will go from the mid 60s for tonight, again ahead of that front with a little more humidity, to the upper 40s. The computer's not cooperating. To the upper 40s as we get you into the day on Wednesday morning. Give me 1 second here. Computer's locking up on us. This is the beauty of live TV, right? We're talking about some really, really chilly temperatures, though, once that front goes through. Try not to give everything away here. So, again, it's just a big drop. It's going to be very fall-like feel for us here by the middle of the week. Wait for it. Wait for it. And there you go. So, again, mid-60s for Tuesday. Sorry about that, folks. Mid-50s and Wednesday morning. 50 by Thursday morning, upper 40s by Friday morning. So some really chilly temperatures here, making it feel like fall. So that brings us to Halloween. For the afternoon on Halloween, which is Friday, high temperatures get to the low 70s, but at trick or treat time, those temperatures will be in the 50s and 60s. Okay, now we got to talk about the tropics. This is a major update. Just got this in. I haven't seen it yet. But as of 1 p.m., winds now 175 miles per hour. That's up 10 miles per hour from the 10 a.m. update. So this is an intense Category 5 hurricane. Pressure dropped another 2 millibars from 908 to 906. I bet we see that go even lower with the late afternoon update because this storm continues to intensify here. We still expect this to be a Category 5 storm at landfall tomorrow morning. So a very serious situation for Jamaica. This will actually likely end up being the strongest storm to ever impact the island of Jamaica, at least in recorded history. And again, landfall expected tomorrow morning. From there, we do a secondary landfall in Cuba, in the eastern tip of the island. After that, a third landfall here through the Turks and Caicos, and then potentially a fourth landfall as a weakening storm up in Bermuda by the end of the week. Here it is on Future Track. Tremendous amounts of rainfall here as moisture continues to get pushed on shore through Kingston and the eastern half of the island. But landfall with the worst of the wind happens on the western half of the island tomorrow morning. From there, the storm will continue that northward movement back over open water with its sights set on Cuba by Tuesday evening. So an intense situation here, a tremendous amount of rainfall and a lot of wind on the way as well. Let's take a look at some of these rainfall totals that we could see with this storm by the time it's all said and done. 30 inches. So 20 to 30 inches in some of those worst hit spots through Jamaica, but I could see a world in which we get locally up to 40 inches of rain through parts of the island, especially with those mountainous areas. Remember, as the rainstorms get pushed up on that terrain, we squeeze more and more of that moisture out. And so the topography of the island really playing a big role in some of these rain totals. And so landslides, mudslides going to be a huge concern. Wind gusts will be impressive. Not so much for Kingston. You'll probably see 50 to 70 mile per hour winds, but around that landfall point, easily gusts over 130 miles per hour. And where the absolute worst of it is right in the immediate landfall with the eye wall, we could see 160 to 180 mile per hour winds. That goes up towards Montego Bay, over 100 mile per hour gusts Tuesday morning. And then again, this moves back out over open water. So a devastating storm, unfortunately, on the way for Jamaica, potentially for Cuba as well. For the United States, the saving grace will be the cold front that's moving through our area. That front, which is so common to see this time of year with the tropics, will deflect Melissa away from the United States. And that's why the likelihood of seeing tropical impacts along the U.S. as we get into late October, early November, really starts to drop off because these cold fronts become more and more common. If you're traveling across the Northeast tomorrow, weather looks good. 50s and 60s with sunshine across the Northeast. Across the Southeast, a lot of cloud cover, maybe even a couple showers through the Carolinas. Temperatures cool. Again, 50s and 60s, 70s and 80s down through Florida. Cold front moving through Texas means windy weather from Amarillo through Midland. Temperatures dropping through the 50s and 60s. Beautiful for El Paso. Hot ahead of the front in the 80s and 90s. Showers and storms from Kansas City through Omaha. A couple showers through St. Louis as well. 50s ahead of the front in Chicago, Minneapolis, and Green Bay. And then windy conditions through the Dakotas. Across the Southwest, weather couldn't be better. Gorgeous weather, lots of sunshine from LA to San Francisco, Phoenix. Temperatures in the 70s at the coast, 80s and 90s through the desert, high desert, upper 50s, Denver, Salt Lake, low 50s with sunshine. And then finally, Pacific Northwest, windy conditions for Seattle. Otherwise, though, dry, sunny, and brisk through the Intermountain West with temperatures in the 40s. Here at home, 65 for tonight, warmer, muggier, mix of cloud cover out there, but should be dry. And then it's a couple of afternoon showers and storms for Tuesday, 87 as your high temperature. There's that 7-day forecast. Front goes through. It is cool. It is brisk. It is breezy for Wednesday, but it is sunny. 68 your high temperature. Down to 50 then on Thursday morning. Back to 70 by the afternoon, upper 40s then potentially in the city for Halloween morning. We get to 72 by the afternoon, trick-or-treat time, back to the 50s and 60s. And beautiful weather sticks around with temperatures moderating back to the 70s and 80s all the way into next weekend.
By Halloween, it's going to get a lot better. Matter of fact, I think the high temperature on Friday will be right around 74, by 6 p.m. 72, and the temperatures will be quick to cool. Sundown on Friday night will be around 6:48 here in the city. Skies will be mostly clear and temperatures will be on the comfortable side. I mean, we're talking mid 60s by 8:30, 9 p.m. Winds for 5 to 10 miles an hour, and overall just awesome weather as we get ready for trick or treat on Friday night. And it's all because of this right here. Here's the culprit for the cooler weather on the way. Tuesday evening is when this front will move in, so tomorrow night. Probably at about 5 or 6 p.m., it'll move through the San Antonio area. The first thing you'll notice is a northerly wind, 10 to 20, maybe 25 miles an hour. So tomorrow night and into early Wednesday, it'll be a little breezy. And matter of fact, that'll pertain to a elevated fire concern Wednesday afternoon. We have a fire weather watch issued for Wednesday for San Antonio and for much of Central and South Texas. And look at that, Thursday morning, widespread 40s in the area, which would make it the strongest front of the season so far. This entire fall season has just been so warm. We'll talk more about that in detail in a second. All right, there's Hurricane Melissa, a powerful Category 5. Matter of fact, at 4 a.m. this morning, the advisory from the Hurricane Center said 155, 160 mile per hour winds. At 11:30, I think it went up to 165 to 170. Now it's at 175. This is a powerful Category 5. And the concern with Melissa, in addition to its intensity, right? I mean, heavy amounts of rain, storm surge, it's its slow movement. It's only moving west-northwest at 3 miles an hour. So this will make landfall late tonight into early tomorrow morning, likely around 4 a.m. early Tuesday. And its pressure is at 906 millibar. There's the forecast cone moving through Cuba and then Turks and Caicos by Wednesday and Thursday. Meantime, here at home, 81, feels like 85. It's a little humid outside, so heads up if you're heading out for any lunchtime plans. 82 at Lackland, 78 at Hondo, 87 at Kennedy, 90 at Carrizo Springs, and even 78 at Del Rio feels nice. Here's the frontal boundary, 89 to 88 midweek, so tomorrow afternoon, and then we go down to 70 on Wednesday, 73 on Thursday, and then morning lows. Have a sweater, have a couple layers, because we're going to be chilly by early Thursday and early Friday morning as temperatures really plummet into the upper 40s around San Antonio. So get ready for that. That's the morning temperatures. So here's your 14-day forecast. 87 degrees today, 86 tomorrow, mid to upper 80s tomorrow, and then 70 on Wednesday, 73 on Thursday. Halloween, perfect, from 49 to 74. And keep in mind, this weekend is the time change. We fall back Sunday morning. This is the one we like, where we gain an hour of sleep, and daytime highs, not bad, in the lower 80s on Saturday and Sunday as we begin November.
So we're already starting to see some nice conditions to start off the week here. Nice bright blue skies out there. We did have some muggy and kind of cloudy overcast conditions early on this morning, but those have since kind of burned off a little bit as our temperatures have warmed up today. 78 degrees at Camp Mabry, 76 over at the airport. Humidity still a touch high, 71% for that relative humidity, and dew points in the 60s, but they're not going to stay like that forever. As we head through our Monday, we are going to see some breezy conditions at times, 10 to 15 miles per hour, 88 degrees for our high temperature here in town. However, I do think we could reach 90 for areas down to the south and even over towards the west because of that prevailing wind from the south and west usually brings in warmer temperatures there. All right, next 6 hours, we will peak in the upper 80s for most of us. Not a ton of change throughout the day today, and that will have to do with our dew points as well. Still pretty muggy as we head overnight tonight, and our temperatures are likely to only drop down to about 70 degrees overnight. Now that all is set to change as our next cold front moves through the area on Tuesday. This will keep Tuesday morning pretty muggy, very similar to what we dealt with today. And then as we head into Wednesday morning, you can see all of that crisp air moving through the state of Texas. Our dew points will be down to 29 instead of the 60s. So it's definitely going to feel a lot different as we head into the end of the week. This will certainly have an impact on our temperatures as well, and will have an impact on wind speed. So as we head through the day on Tuesday, again, here's about midday Tuesday when that front is expected to enter our region. We'll see some pretty gusty conditions, maybe 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts moving through the area. This will remain elevated throughout Tuesday afternoon and even extending into Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning. So that rush of just very dry air is going to be elevated for some time. Now the issue with this is we have, we did get a little rain over this past weekend, but we're mainly dry and still seeing our drought conditions worsen, especially on the east side of town. So as we head through Wednesday, even Thursday, we're going to be having to watch out for potential fire weather danger. So again, cigarette butts, want to throw those on the ground, make sure everything is out, trailer chains, as well as driving your car on that dry grass. So that's a couple of areas of advice for you. Lows over the next couple of days, while we are going to maintain humid, muggy conditions for tomorrow morning through the middle of this week, temperatures drop down due to that much drier air. And also our afternoon temperatures will be a bit cooler as well. 75 degrees for your Halloween forecast by 5 p.m. and maintaining clear conditions as we head into those more trick-or-treat type hours, but after dinner time there. All right, 7-day forecast. We are looking at kind of a busy week. Longhorns come back home on Saturday. We have Halloween on Friday and our cold front coming through tomorrow.
You can see fog starting to break up. This camera is above ground level, so it looks a little more dramatic, but visibility should be good to go now. It is partly cloudy skies right now, 72. Humidity is up. Feels pretty good when you step out, in my opinion. Winds light out of the south. Live look at temperatures across the region, 60s, 70s for the time being. It feels quite cool, but not for long. We're going to jump up into the 80s in the PM hours. It's only 11:13 right now, so just taking a little bit longer to warm up. You start to see that this time of year. No rain on radar to show you. It feels like it's about to rain because of the high humidity, but it is not. We stay dry, rain-free on this Monday. I mentioned it's going to get quite warm this afternoon. Sun comes out, and we're going to be sitting in the 80s. The great majority of the viewing area could even touch 90 in our far western, northwestern zones this afternoon. 85 Cameron, 85 Temple, 86 Waco. Winds backing out of the south the rest of today. There is another cold front on the way. Lots to talk about actually over the next 7 days. So I'll slow down here and go through this. So rest of today, warm winds out of the south. Clouds start to break up. We end up in the middle 80s or so on average. Cold front enters our county sometime in the front half of Tuesday. Tomorrow, winds are going to be backing out of the north. Great majority of the viewing area does stay dry. This front is relatively dry. Now, I do want to mention further down towards the Brazos Valley and I-45 corridor into East Texas, maybe a sprinkle or two. Again, most of us stay dry, partly cloudy skies, and winds will shift out of the north for everybody by Tuesday afternoon and be up, by the way. We're going to have a couple of windy days. Fresh new weather impact alert for Wednesday because we're going to have 40-mile-an-hour gusts. Yes, 40. It's unusual that we see them that high, but winds up to about 25, 30 throughout Tuesday in the PM hours, but especially overnight into Wednesday. That's our biggest wind day of the next 7-day forecast. So Wednesday will be dry, rain-free, and temperatures are going to be at bay for a few days. And when I say at bay, post-cold front tomorrow that's dropping in, we're going to have a few mornings that are in the 40s, wind chill factors likely in the 30s. So if you don't have the coat out quite yet, you want to get it out by tomorrow night. Tuesday, most of us stay rain-free again. This is a relatively dry front. But it is going to knock our temperatures back quite a bit. So we wake up Wednesday and have a cold morning, and we'll have cold mornings several mornings in a row after tomorrow. High temperatures are also going to be quite low compared to what some of the other cold fronts that we've seen lately made us. So I'll show you that in the 7-day forecast. You can see we stay rain-free for the most part over the extended period. Clouds peppered in here and there, including on Halloween. Okay, so I mentioned the winds. This is kind of the biggest story over the next, I'd say 72 hours, especially because Tuesday, Wednesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, going to be our windy days once the front does get here. You can see winds back half of Tuesday, especially that night, up to about 30, maybe even a couple of straight 35-mile-an-hour gusts. We head into Wednesday, the whole day, we're going to see gusty winds, but you can see, especially when winds peak that afternoon, we're going to likely have some 40-mile-an-hour gusts. So wouldn't be surprised if they do issue a wind advisory because of this, by the way. Speaking of wind, Hurricane Melissa is now a Category 5, winds at 165 miles an hour. You see this right here that I'm circling? That's Jamaica. Going to make a direct impact, and you're going to hear all about this. Unfortunate situation, just going to be catastrophic. Good news being Melissa is relatively small for a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. So the wind field that's going to cause the most dramatic of damage is likely to be small. So certain areas of the island won't have as drastic of impacts, but likely there are some areas that are just going to get decimated. Melissa is a non-issue for the U.S., by the way. Here's that interesting 7-day forecast, including now Halloween, also including when we roll our clocks back. That would be Saturday night. We wake up Sunday, and it's going to start getting dark super early. But weather impact alert for Wednesday, again, is because of the wind. No rain or anything like what we saw last weekend, but you see temperatures struggle after that. Halloween, we wake up at 42. We'll be feeling like 35 to 40 degrees for several mornings in a row.
We have been tracking fog throughout this morning. It's looking like it's starting to break up, the dense fog. At least earlier it was all around this whole area here, and I'm starting to see more areas of just a lighter fog than the dense fog. Alice is back up to 3 miles of visibility. Regardless, it's important to drive slow. If you look out the door and you do see really foggy conditions in the area that you are at today. Now, as we continue to warm up this morning, we are going to see that dense fog go down and eventually completely go away this morning. We will eventually get into the lower 90s here in Corpus Christi, but the bad thing is that the humidity is still so high that feels like temperature is in the upper 90s, and that's going to be the same for tomorrow too. But we do have hope on the way with this cold front here that will be dragging down through the central U.S. and the timeline is looking like late afternoon into the evening on Tuesday to see this cold front come through, be probably out of the area by midnight. We'll see cooler and drier air behind it. There is a rain chance with it, but it's not that great. We'll see rain along the front, but right now, at least based on Futurecast and our high-res model, it is looking isolated. The main thing is that we'll see once it comes by that our temperatures drastically drop for the next morning and that our dew point drastically drops. We'll go from humid on Tuesday to very dry on Wednesday. And so with that, we do have concerns for some fire weather on Wednesday as gusts are trending higher with the models 30 to 40 miles per hour and with low humidity of around 15% and our dry conditions that we have already. That is a elevated concern of mine, but of course we are under a burn ban right now. But the good news is Halloween is looking comfortable. Maybe not cold enough to not melt your chocolate, but it is looking comfortable outside when kids are going trick-or-treating.